Mr. President.
The senator from Alabama.
Mr. President, passing a clean CR this week is important for two reasons. First, passing this CR, of course, will avert a harmful and unnecessary government shutdown. No reasonable member on either side, Democrat or Republican, wants a government shutdown. Now, those aren't my words. Those are actually Senator Schumer's words from just over a year ago. Mr. President, I rise today because once again, this Congress, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, have decided to put politics ahead of the American people. You see, just a few weeks ago, we finally unpacked the logjam that they had created on President Trump's nominees. Now, they decided, instead of working for the American people and allowing this body to do its job, that they were going to engage in unprecedented obstruction, allowing for every single person that came to this floor insisting that they had a cloture vote, 134 out of 135 nominees, something that had historically never been done. At the rate we were going, up until Republicans finally took action to remove Democrat obstruction, President Trump, at the end of his term, would have had about 800 nominees confirmed out of the 1,200 that he actually gets to select during his administration. Now, I didn't say at the end of this year, I didn't say at the end of this Congress, that would have been just over 400. At the end of his term, he would have only had just over 2/3 of the people that he needed to make his administration work. That is what they wanted to do. That is what they were insistent upon. Look, the American people spoke on November 5th. They heard from both sides. It was probably one of the more fruitful debates, knowing what Vice President Harris would bring to the table, seeing that she said, "I would do nothing different than Joe Biden has done." And then knowing what President Trump did his first term and what he was promising to do yet again. And the American people made a very clear choice. But yet, instead of allowing this body to focus, this body to work, this body to function, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have continued to play politics. And guess what? We're over it. And that's what we're seeing happen here today. Make no mistake, what we want to do is pass a clean CR. Now, this means we've obviously come to the end of our time with government funding. We have 12 appropriations bills that we need to get across the finish line. Getting them across the finish line is important to fund the government. And look, we are on our path, a path greater than that was set by my colleagues when they were in charge just over a year ago, to actually make great strides towards that. And so what Republicans are asking that we do is that we continue these conversations, we continue the work that we're doing. You see, for the first time since 2018, we actually passed 3 appropriations bills out of this chamber before the August state work period. We have been working diligently with our counterparts on the House to get those ready for final passage. What we're asking them to do today is let us keep working. Let us keep doing our job for the American people, but they are consistently choosing politics over the very people they serve. This chamber is barreling towards a government shutdown, and make no mistake about it, there is no one to blame but the Democrats. You know, instead of saying, yeah, let's keep working, they decided to say, you know what? For 7 weeks of keeping working towards the goal of bringing these bills to the floor and actually passing them, getting them across the finish line, when we've engaged in record obstruction on other items, we're going to ask you for $1.5 trillion in new spending for 7 weeks. So they have essentially asked, now you heard that right, not a billion with a B, trillion with AT for 7 weeks of spending under a Biden budget as we extend that while we work to put ourselves under a Trump budget moving forward. It's seriously partisan and unfortunate for the American people. Their plan also asks for some other things that are deeply unserious: to allow illegal aliens to receive taxpayer-funded benefits. That's what they're asking in exchange. To send $500 million to media that functions more as propaganda than it does an actual news outlet. And they want to eliminate the $50 billion of investment that Republicans pledged and made to rural health care. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Here's the reality. Voters rejected all of that on November 5th. The America Last spending of Democrats is something that the people of this country said we don't want any more of. President Trump and Republicans were elected to change that in historic fashion. But time and time again, it appears that the people pushing for a shutdown, the people on the other side of the aisle, are not living in reality and are caring more about pandering to the far left than they are about actually delivering results to the American people, and that's sad. Look, this isn't an impasse where we said, let's work on these things and we will make no progress. We've made significant progress, and we're committed to continuing to do that given the opportunity. Meanwhile, Republicans have put forth a clean CR. It funds the government for 7 weeks. It puts forth no new partisan spending, and importantly, allows for us to have more time to get back to a semblance of regular order and pass bipartisan appropriations bills. Enacting these appropriations bills needs to be one of our top priorities, because while the Republican-led CR is the best option for right now, it is my belief we cannot continue to kick the can down the road. Every time we do that, it costs the American taxpayers more. It's time for us to get in this room, right here, and do the work of the American people. A long-term continuing resolution would keep spending at Biden levels, and the American people neither voted for this nor could they afford it. We have an obligation to ensure the Senate gets back to doing its job. We must return to transparency, to accountability, and to regular order. Last several months, it was blocking President Trump's nominees. Now it's holding the government hostage with a wish list of demands. Republicans are here to work for the American people. And look, we're going to continue to do so. It is my hope that some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are committed to doing the same thing. Make no mistake, if the government shuts down, if federal workers go without a paycheck, if things go awry, that will be Democrats' burden to bear. It's not like there hasn't been progress. It's not like there's no plan. We've made progress on these bills. Our Leader John Thune, has promised to continue to put these bills on the floor. It is past time that Democrats get serious and decide if they want to govern or if they just want to follow their leader. I hope that they choose actually doing the work of the American people and not making them pay the price for a Schumer shutdown. Mr. President, decisions need to be made in this very chamber tonight, and I hope that our colleagues on the other side make the right one. Let us to continue to work for the American people. Let us do the job that we've already started on and are committed to finishing, and let us get this Senate back functioning for the very people that we serve. Thank you.